Today's subject, theoretically, is everybody hates Matt Gaetz, or do they? And I was watching this and I thought to myself, this is a perfect example for you students of reality to understand. And this is what Uncle Lenny, as you will call this. This is what we need to talk about. Is Matt Gaetz creepy? I've told you for the longest time. Remember a while back? How long ago did I tell you? Be careful about Matt Gaetz. Be careful. Remember this? Remember this? Remember? Remember I told you, Matt Gaetz, be careful. I said something's creepy with that guy. Something's creepy with that guy. Remember that? And nobody listened, of course. Nobody pays attention to me because people are, they do their thing, but nobody understands really what it is. Why is it? I told you that from the beginning. He is weird. His son Nestor, his wife, his marriage. Is she a beard? I don't know. Is he gay? I don't know. Is there something creepy going on with his son? I don't know. What's with the eyebrows and that Beavis and Butthead and all the surgery? Is it, well, ask Nancy Pelosi about that. Is he strange? Oh, yeah, he is. He's weird. Anything else? I told you this. I said he's weird. And be careful with him. Okay. Now, for whatever reason, President Trump has picked him. President Trump is the beneficiary of our mandate. And he is a person that we have selected. He has won overwhelmingly. And Kamala is nowhere to be found. You are not going to see her. Let me say this again to you. She's gone. She will disappear. Never see her again. She'll never run for anything. She'll never be appointed to anything. She'll never write. She'll never go on TV. She's nothing. She'll get her money and pay, and that's it. She's done. She was a joke. And they squandered this time. But the question is, what is going on with Matt Gaetz? Do you understand this? Now, most people I know, they have no idea about anything. None. They have no clue. What motivates a lot of people in terms of politics is to be a part of the club, to be a part of this group. We're the winners. They're great with MAGA. They're great with, we got to win. That's very easy to understand. Okay, once you've won, it's like, now what do we do? They're terrible with that. They have no earthly idea of what to do. They have no idea. Well, what do we do now? We won. I don't know. What do you stand for? Are you a Republican? I have seen basically three groups here in New York that fancy themselves as either Republican and or conservative, and they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. They're not liberal, or they're Fox News, or they're Hannity, that kind of stuff. They have no catechism. They don't understand. What do you believe in? This might be the most important thing we're going to talk about. So get ready for this. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure, because 87% of the people who watch us found out do not subscribe. I find this fascinating. Now, before we begin, 2 words from our sponsors. Number one, I saw this morning in the New York, online post, they said, brace yourself for freezing weather in the next couple of days, right before Thanksgiving. Get ready. See what the media do? Because they love to scare you. They are planning for inclement weather in New Jersey and many, because we don't live in New Jersey, but we drive there for different provisions. It's plus to get away. They have these old power lines. This is from the 30s, the 20s, whenever they put them. And when they get filled with snow and they get heavy, they fall, and the trees fall, and the power goes out, and the power is out, and things. We just keep doing this stuff because we're living like in the dark ages. Nobody's ever figured out how to get rid of power lines. That's the infrastructure that we need, but instead it's going to Israel and Ukraine. Let me say that again. Billions and billions of dollars. I can modernize areas like you can't believe if I could do that. But we don't worry about that. Lyndon Johnson brought electricity to the hill country. of Texas is one of the greatest things ever. We don't think like that. And when it comes to survival, we're in this mode that, don't worry, we're the United States, everything's okay. Preparewithlionel.com is in business for one reason. Disaster is coming, and your government is not going to be able to help you. Period. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Jesus Christ. The government can't do it. There is no government. It's corrupt, it's fat, it's torpid, and they're not here to help. Do I make myself clear? Good. Preparewithlionel.com. Prepare and get ready, not just for emergency food, but for water, power, energy, food. Don't forget too, you need gold, ammo, and others. Okay. Next, I'll say this one more time to you. Never forget MyPillow.com, and never forget the travails and the agonistes of Mike Lindell. Remember what they did to him. And remember especially how he was on his own. Everybody came. They mocked him on Saturday Night Live. Now, I want you to go to MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. You get a free gift, by the way, if you call. You get a free gift if you put in promo code. Absolutely. Go ahead. I know it's tautological, but nonetheless. This guy is a hero. He's standing. But the clothing, the pillowcases, the towels, and Christmas, this is the easiest checklist for Christmas gifts. Okay? Good. Now, let me get back with this. Republicans do not have a catechism, articles of faith. I think I told you. I was doing on my private channel before. So I don't know if I did that before I said this, but there are three organizations I've kind of roughly been to in New York that call themselves Republican or conservative, and they have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea. And if you walk in and say, tell me what Matt Gaetz is about. Tell me what the story is about. Tell me. Not tell me, not the official story. Tell me the arc. Tell me how it fits in. What is this about? They have no idea. Are you a Republican? Yes. What does that mean? I'm Fox News. Fox News. I'm going to say something to you, and you're going to laugh at this. You're going to think I'm making this up. But first, Nubian Stone, ladies and gentlemen, is a member. Thank you so much, Noob. I appreciate that. When I was a kid, I remember this notion called the Articles of Faith. And the Articles of Faith were very interesting. The Articles of Faith were this thing that we said. And it's the basics of the Catholic faith. And they called it the Apostles' Creed sometimes. This was there were 12 articles. I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. Does this sound familiar? You had this when you were a kid. There was an incantation. I heard this my whole life. And in Jesus Christ, the only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the power of the Holy Spirit. Some of this has been modernized, some of the actual lingo. Who was conceived by the power of the Holy Spirit and born of the Virgin Mary. Article 3. 4. He suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. Remember this? Pontius Pilate, not Caiaphas, not the Jews, which is what Mel Gibson would want. That's a different story because he is a classic. He's an Orthodox Catholic. He and his father Hutton Gibson. That's another little version which most Catholics don't know. Article 5, he descended into hell. The third day he rose again from the dead. And when you say hell, most people say, what do you mean hell? It's not the hell you're talking about. Hell was merely the word of where people, where the place of the dead, they called it. But nobody knows it. He ascended into heaven and okay. Those are the articles of faith. You have no idea how many times I've talked to Catholics in my life, and I've said to them, what do you mean you're a Catholic? What does this mean? They say, I don't know. I was born Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I've been Catholic all my life. And they know nothing. Last night we were talking a little bit against my better judgment about nutrition and rules and eating, and nobody knows anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They know a little bit. It's just like, I don't mean to pick on him because he's a good guy. It's Hannity logic. A little bit of this. Republican is Ronald Reagan and the government and taxes, lower the taxes, and or they do this pious stuff where all of a sudden you got these phony Christians who all of a sudden Russell Brand is a Christian. By God, he's a Christian. And Tucker Carlson are Christians. Christians, God damn it, we're Christians. I believe in Jesus. Let's pray. Okay, let's pray. I said, whoa. I said, where have you been? They just discovered Christianity. These are the phonies out there. That's okay. It's a shtick and it works and it pulls people in. And I'm not saying they don't believe in it, but when you sell it too much, no. I've been through this. I've seen this. It's a work. It pulls people in. It's your thing. And it bores the living out of people. I've got a friend of mine. I love him to death. He's one of my best friends. But he goes, in the name of Jesus, would you stop that? Can we eat a sandwich without you praying to Jesus? Would you? Is it possible? Can we just do one thing? Can you? One time he told me, he says, swearing. Did Jesus say ever anything about swearing? Do you know what swearing means? You say the S word or the F word. Do you think Jesus somewhere said, don't say that? Or would Jesus say, well, I don't care about the word, it's the idea? Forget it. So I'm not a member of any club. But these are phonies, sort of, because they love to tell you who they are. They love to tell you, I'm a rock-ribbed conservative. What does that mean? I've been to, like I told you, 3 organizations here in New York, and none of them can tell you anything about Republicans, conservatives, nothing. They're Fox News fans or something. Okay. Matt Gaetz. Here's what Matt Gaetz is. Matt Gaetz is, I told you, a creepy guy. I don't know if he's closeted, if his wife's a beard, if he's a swinger, if I have no idea. That place. You want to talk about Matt Gaetz being weird? Let's start with Nancy Pelosi's husband. You want to talk about that? Whoa, wait a minute. Hold it. Oh, no. You want to keep going? You want to keep going with who's weird? Ask Trey Gowdy. That's another one. What's up with it? You want to talk about who's weird? So don't pick on Matt Gaetz. But to answer the question, I told you then there's some weird with that guy. Okay, fine. Einstein, one of the weirdest people you've ever met, married his cousin. Did you ever see the picture of him on Long Island wearing little girl sandals? Did you ever see this? Look for him. He's wearing short pants. He's got his legs crossed, and he's like on a rock or something. And he's got little girl sandals, like not. Sometimes there are sandals that are like, well, that's kind of weird. There's like little white slats, something like your sister would wear. I'm telling you, he's weird. Did you ever hear what he said to his cousin when he married his cousin about she didn't cook for him? And he's weird. Okay, we got the weird out. And you know who's weird? You're weird. You're weird. You. Yeah, you. You want to go into that one? I don't think so. So let's move that. Matt Gaetz has a lot of accusations. And when there's smoke, there's fire, for the most part. Doesn't mean that an accusation means it's true, but if somebody's talking about underage sex and drugs and this and trafficking, there's something there. Maybe nothing. And the something that's there might be exaggerated, but nothing is ever just created out of nothing. It's a misunderstanding, an extrapolation, something. Okay. Matt Gaetz quit. Why did Matt Gaetz quit? Why did he step down from the Congress? Let me ask you a question. Why? Why? I'll wait a moment because there's a time. Why did Matt Gaetz step down? Why did he say, I quit? I immediately stepped down. Why did he do that? Why? Why? Anybody? Anybody? I'm just going to wait. There's just kind of a delay here. Why did he step down? Why? To stop the investigation? Donji, no, the investigation's already been done. No. Didn't want to be through the ethics ringer. Okay. To be AG. Well, this is good. I like this. John says to be AG. Well, I kind of like that. That's true, but that's not it. Why? Why is this? Holiday, to chase young girls? Nobody knows. So the committee would stop investigating and not release. It's release. Not investigate, but release. They didn't have anything, so they want to release it finally. They don't want him to be released. Now, if he quits, the House has no jurisdiction of him. It all ends. Now, that investigation is getting out. That's getting out no matter what. It's getting out no matter what. You can think all he wants. It's getting out. Understand that? But he steps down because he said, screw this. I don't want to hear this. I'm going to stop this. Okay, folks, I'm out of the House. That's it. You can't release it. Theoretically, that's number one. Number two, if for some reason he doesn't get the AG, remember, you got 4 senators. That's it. And there's about 10 who claim. Senators always start off by pretending, I don't know if I'm going to vote for him. Being a senator sucks. You are nothing. Sometimes being a House member is even more. If you're not in a leadership committee position, it doesn't really matter. So sometimes you're a senator and you always start off and say, well, I'm not really sure. So people will come to you so that when you walk out of people walk up with you with their camera, their microphones, but really it's the worst position in the world. So what they're going to do is it takes 4. He might not get it. Now, the reason why he also steps down is he says he runs for governor, senator, whatever it is of Florida in 2026. And he says, I'm running because the deep state ran me out. And look what I have to do. And I fought for you. And I fought the deep state. And I taught the shadow government. And I did this. And I did it. And they're coming after me. And look what they did. They want to. The people will say, I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. That's why. Got it. You understand this? Now remember, it doesn't matter whom you like for AG. He may be coming next, but Trump says, look, I don't care. I want some people I'm going to throw out there that'll shut me down so I can say, see, because Trump loves to mix it up. I just received a mandate from the people of the country. A mandate. You understand this? A mandate. Russian collusion was made of nothing. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. They didn't sit there and say one day, how about an Egyptian influence? No. Russian. Yeah, Russian. Okay, that's a good one. We have any ties to Russian? Yeah. There's always a kernel of something. There's always a kernel of something that they expand upon. Oh, but there's always something. But you can say, but that wasn't collusion. What does collusion mean? Let me get into that stuff. Okay. So Matt Gaetz is either way, he's sitting great. In the meantime, and they can do a recess appointment, which holds him up for like 2 years where he's in the position, and then everything is. They can do the recess appointment under the Constitution. I don't think they want to do this. I just think Trump loves it. Trump says, you know what? Whether it's Matt Gaetz or not, I want to be able to say, you see what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to do. Now, here's the other issue. There's a bigger issue here. Do you know, are you a member of any organization, the Homeowners Association, or when you were in school, there were sororities, or in high school, there were cliques and cliques and groups, and where you weren't cool? Anybody? Were you ever a part where there was the mean girls? Oh, I see it all the time. Every organization. And I'm going to tell you something right now, and I hate to say it to you. I'll stand by what I'm saying. If something is ever exclusively run by women, you are going to see knives. And I mean, it's something like you cannot believe. It's like, I don't know what it is, because these natural competitive people who don't get along. We'll talk about that later on. With all due respect, I'm not trying to be, it's just true. There is something, you can close that door if you like. There is something very, very true about that. But anyway, so they get together and they find their ways. How do I say this? They're the cool ones. And they decide, okay, we're the Republicans. Now, in the Republican Party, there's a group of people, like, there are the neoconservatives. Are neoconservatives conservatives? No. No. Neocons these are lapsed Trotskyites. These were old liberals. Leo Strauss's days. They are constantly referred to as people trying to suggest that that the neoconservatives are suggesting that America should spread its power to spread democracy. The only problem they have with the Vietnam War was we didn't finish it. They're called neoconservatives, but they're not conservatives. Neoliberals are not liberals. You follow me? This is you don't hear this. You'll never hear the word neoliberals or anything like that on Fox News. You'll never hear neocon, because people think neocon means pro-war. That's not it. It's a part of it, but not it. Now, conservatives. The conservative movement is been around forever, obviously, right, left, which has to do with the way the parties were aligned, either in the parliament or whatever, left, right. Just so happens. But the conservative American identification really, let's for practical purposes, Barry Goldwater. Barry Goldwater, this is the guy that I think is great. Barry Goldwater was so minor. Look at this. Meager and Joe invited to Mar-a-Lago last Friday. I did not know that. That would be very good. That would be wonderful, because that would be capitulation. And thank you, Calypso Kins. Barry Goldwater, Ronald Reagan. You got it? Paleoconservatism. William F. Buckley, National Review. Paleo. Pat Buchanan, old, traditional, not neocons. Pat Buchanan hated neoconservatives because they were war. Same thing would have been for Buckley, to show you how important the Israeli, I don't want to say Jewish, it's not Jewish, but the Israeli lobby was. They have come up with this idea that the neoconservatives are basically crypto anti-Semites. Are you following this? Are you following this? Look at this. What's the issue with Matt, Lionel? I'm telling you. I'm explaining this to you. Give me a minute. I'm explaining this to you. So what's the issue? I'm explaining this. This is the background. It's like going to a movie. It's like, what's this? What's going on here? It's the beginning of the movie. What is it? It's the credits. It's the music. Relax. Okay, let me see if I can put this. Anybody who tells me I'm off this subject, I have nothing to do with. Okay, let me just tell you right off the bat. I want you to do me a favor. I am not fourth grade. I'm not elementary school. Please, I beg you, do us all a favor. Go somewhere else. Go watch, I don't know, Judge Janine. Do you want to learn about conservatism, Republicans, the Karl Rove group, the Trey Gowdy group, the Mean Girls? Do you understand what's going on? Do you understand how there are these people who despise this new iteration that we have of who we are? You are not a conservative. You understand this? Matt is a maverick. Thank you, Raul. Thank you. You are absolutely correct. He is a maverick. He is a hybrid. He is the Karl Rove class. Watch him. Fox News, as an example, loves Karl Rove because Fox News is old. Hannity. Again, Reagan. Please don't take it the wrong way. Rush Limbaugh. Old. Usual. Play it safe. Lower taxes. Social conservative. Very patriotic. And absolutely, for reasons, committed to Israel and Zelensky. Military industrial complex in this. You hear that? Do you hear what I'm saying? Are you following this? Hang on a minute. Just 1 second here. I got to do. Hang on. Let me do this right now. Let me see if I can. Just give me a second here. Something came up. I gotta check this out real quick. Okay. Okay, hang on a second. Do me one favor, my friends. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to put you on. I'm going to take a brief break here. Just 1 second. I have to do something really quickly. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, talk amongst yourselves. Just wait. Talk amongst yourselves. Be right back. Got to check something here. I hear you. Can you hear me? Sorry. Work there. Good morning. Thank you, my friends. My wife always comes first. Now, they don't like the fact that we came along and we picked Donald Trump. They hate it. They hate it. They don't like him. They hate him. Karl Rove is a perfect example. Oh, I'm even putting this thing on. Karl Rove. My head is going crazy. Karl Rove is so nuts. He thinks he lives in the days of Ronald Reagan. He doesn't understand Steve Bannon. He doesn't understand Alex Jones. He doesn't understand that we think differently. He doesn't understand this. You understand this? This is the most important thing in the world. This is what I gotta tell you. He doesn't understand this. We live in the world right now where we are neo something. I don't even know if the word is not conservative. I'm not a conservative. Matt Gaetz could do a wonderful job telling people specifically what they have to do to follow our directives. Merrick Garland, on paper, was one of the greatest AGs ever. He missed the Supreme Court because remember the recess appointment? They said no. This is a person who was an individual who was on the DC Court of Appeals. He was with the Department of Justice. He never ran an organization like this, but they liked him. And he was the most corrupt and horrible attorney general there is. So here comes Matt Gaetz with his eyebrows and his Botox and his work and his wife and the son. Remember his son? And he's creepy and these allegations. And they're just laying it on. They did the same thing with Kavanaugh because they think they run the show. Now, the Kavanaugh days was the liberal types being in charge. This is an internecine fight within the Republican Party. And what you have to ask yourself is very simply this. What is it that we stand for? What is it? I have told you specifically. By the way, do you know what turd blossom means? Snarf? Do you know what that means? Do you know where turd blossom comes from? Do you understand that? Do you understand this? Look at this. I love this. It happened before Matt Gaetz was married. Why do you think Matt Gaetz got married? They would say, I don't care about this. You don't understand what I'm saying. It doesn't make any difference to me. If Nancy Pelosi's husband gets a pass, if Biden gets a pass, if Hunter gets a pass, if everybody gets a pass, and Pelosi and the insider trading and all this stuff, then unless Matt Gaetz has killed someone, doesn't matter to me. But understand what something is. You're saying this. Matt Gaetz is a rhino. He just sits there, doesn't want change. No, what he wants is he is a part of the William F. Buckley School of Conservatism. He is old school. He doesn't. And also, Matt Gaetz does not pay homage. Matt Gaetz told basically when they had that fight for the Kevin McCarthy, Matt Gaetz doesn't play the games. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look at this. Missing says Matt Gaetz is great for the Republican Party. No, he's not. He is the worst because the Republican Party cannot control him. This is all it's about. This is about old school, old people. These are people. Kay has a good point here. Trust Trump with his picks. Absolutely. There are people always who love. Remember, Washington is about, not only is it about, I mentioned before about women's clubs. I'm sorry. It's true. But Washington is also. It's backstabbing. It's not nice. It's not collegial. It has nothing to do with governance. It's about ideology and the profession of such. I'm going to explain this to you. I'm going to explain this for you. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're able to understand. Yes, this is complicated. And you're not saying get to the point, getting off subject. I don't have time for people who don't understand analogies. And I don't. The other day I was trying to explain how there was an AI piece, which was a parody, which explained things perfectly. And somebody said, I'm surprised at you. That's AI. That's not real. And I'm thinking, no, it's like a cartoon. It's an analogy. And I thought, oh my God. So I just don't have time to speak with children or people who really don't understand this. And I know that sounds rude. It really does sound rude, but it's a God's honest truth. I don't have time for that. I don't have time. Now, let me also explain. You're going to love this. The other day, I talked about people who are over their heads in debt. They don't know what to do. And somebody writes it. Well, I don't have any debt. That's not what we're talking about. Well, go out and get a job. It's like, oh my God. I just don't know sometimes. I don't know. And I've also told you that right now I've made a pact and an agreement. I'm not going to tolerate lunacy. So listen very carefully to this important word. And thank you for listening to me. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,200 $215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Now, every organization, every group of people, everyone, since the beginning of time, has always had groups of folks who are the gatekeepers as to who or what controls the agenda. Do not use this word rhino, Republican in name only, if you cannot define what a Republican is. Do not use the word Republican. Do not use the word Republican if you do not know what a Republican is. What are the articles of faith of Republican? What does that mean? Don't be one of these people who says, well, the Republican is the opposite of the Democrat. Republican voted against whatever it is. You understand that? Don't do that. Now, here's what's important. Every group of people, since the beginning of time, always says, we don't like newcomers. Now, I'm going to give you an analogy. There were some people who before would not have a hard time with this or have a hard time because they would say, this is an analogy. What are you talking about? Why are you dealing with this? Why? Okay, fine. Let me see what's going on here. Number one, there was a time, believe it or not, when the worst thing in the world you could do in this country is have long hair. I know you're going to laugh at that right now, but one of the things that held the Beatles back and others were because they had long hair. And there were rockabilly folks and rock stars who said, who are these people from this British invasion? Who are they? That's not rock and roll. We're rock and roll. I don't know who those people are. They're not rock and roll. And then there were the blues people who the British people took from, and they say, that's not blues, we're blues. You don't understand it, okay? You got how this thing works? Every group always doesn't like somebody claiming it. There was a fellow in the world, this is an analogy, but let me just remind you, like a Brecht movie, a play, Bertolt Brecht. This is an analogy. There was a guy by the name of Graham Parsons years ago who said, I'm going to take the classics of prototypical great country and Western. I'm going to put them in with pedal steels and everything else. And I'm going to put them together and I'm going to add this. And it was the Byrds, the Sweethearts of the Rodeo, and Flying Burrito Brothers and all this stuff. And thus became, quote, one of the underpinnings of Southern rock. Okay, not Southern rock, but it was an influence. Okay, and then which pissed off Nashville like you couldn't believe, because this wasn't an homage, this was an invalidation. And then later on, after hardcore rock and roll kicked in, came Southern rock, Allman Brothers or whatever, Marshall Tucker, which was this other, which had nothing to do with Graham Parsons, but they fought. Who's Southern rock? That's like country and Western. Later on, Sleep at the Wheel came in and they said, but we're like Bob Wills. Wait a minute, we have that one coming in. So we got country music is yelling, rock is yelling, is this rock? Is this not? What is it? And then everywhere we go, people have been doing this. So the first rule we have to do is we have to say, I don't know what this is called. We've got to put it somewhere. We're going to call our belief Republican because it's got to fit in one of two slots. I'm sorry. third parties don't work. They don't work. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Third parties don't work. We are third parties. We recognize people for different things. We will listen to Alex Jones. We will listen to a Ronald Reagan. We will listen to a Bernie Sanders if he makes sense. If a Ralph Nader makes sense, it doesn't matter. It just so happens that we see what is happening. And more important than anything else to us is the fundamental precepts of the Constitution, rights, health. We understand that the United States, the government has been taken over, in essence, by a group of people who are pretending to be Republicans, but they are interlopers. That is exactly what this is. They are interlopers. Do you understand this? You understand, you grasp this. And they have come in and they have broken down barriers. They have violated our rules regarding individual freedom, body integrity, whether it's because of vaccines or whether it's because of health or whether it's because of this or limitations of free speech or whatever. We kind of don't fit in, but of these holes that were spaces that we have to fit into, Republicans seem to be the best or the better. And then came Trump, and we were all in. Trump came in, and we said, that's it. Trump could expand more, but for the most part, we do not have real problems with Trump. We defer to him. When he wants to have someone who is involved in a particular, an exponent of his ideology, it may not be perfect, but we'll go along with it. And Matt Gaetz is great because he's a bull in the china shop. He does exactly what we want. And we love the fact that he is so great. And he may not be perfect, and he may be creepy, and he may be a sexual profligate. I have no idea. But if you want to eliminate people from Congress or Washington or the administration who are sexual freaks and deviants, who've got things to hide, you want to talk about Lindsey Graham? Anybody? Anybody interested in that? Anybody want to go? You really want to talk about people who are just, I'm just saying, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to talk about this? I don't know. So let me explain something to you very simply this. Recognize what the Matt Gaetz case is about. It's about them trying to shut Trump down and this guy being too much to handle. And I love the fact, and I'm going to say something. I love the revolutionary. I saw a picture the other day of Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan, people say, oh my God, he's horrible. There's a part of Louis Farrakhan I admire the same way I admire Bibi Netanyahu, the same way I admire Gloria Steinem, the same way I admire Ralph Nader, or the same way I admire Alex Jones or Joe Rogan. I love people who don't just sit back. They go out and they put their heart and their soul on the line. I mentioned this about Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda, when she was a liberal, actually made a damn fool out of herself. I deplore what she did, but she actually did something. Now, granted, again, Emma Goldman, anarchists, bad people. I admire, independent of the message, the fact that they go out and they make a stink. I love this. I love the fact that some people speak loud. Matt Gaetz could do more than anything else to bring the Department of Justice back. I don't care about his administrative skills. There's more to the DOJ than merely making profound constitutional moments. I understand this, okay? I understand this. Do you understand this? Do you understand this? Timothy says, I ain't fond of Jane. Okay. Do you understand that we have to separate what we think from what is occurring? Kimmy Cliff says, he may be creepy, but he's our creepy guy. Lyndon Johnson said this years ago, Kimmy, about J. Edgar Hoover. He said he's a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch. He also said it's better from the inside pissing out than the outside pissing in. You understand this? YouTube says this cabinet is the meteor that's going to end American political dinosaurs. Perhaps. Now, does that mean I like him all? Marco Rubio? I despise Marco Rubio. Elise Stefanik? No. Ooh. This is me. This is me. You understand this? But if President Trump wants this, okay, that's fine. Marco Rubio is a hack. Elise Stefanik is a hack. If you can't see that one, I know what's going on. It's not going to ever be perfect. Okay? I'm just saying, I'm not going to give up all this work, all this effort, all this thinking, all this effort on our part to give it up just because of the fact, and this is important, just because there's a glitch somewhere. But let me go back to what I was saying and listen to me carefully. If you want to see something, listen to what Steve Bannon said about, and Steve Bannon, there's a lot about Steve Bannon I like too. I like revolutionaries. I like this. I think we need him. Alex Jones, I can't say enough about. I don't sign off on everything he says, but this is important. Steve Bannon was talking about Trey Gowdy. What happened to Trey Gowdy? Why did he step down? What's going on? Who is this guy? Trey Gowdy? There's this. It was on my YouTube my YouTube rotation, and it was Trey Gowdy with Karl Rove. Karl Rove, by the way, turd blossom. Do you know what that is? Turd blossom is the idea that in the pasture, when a cow or a steer or a bull deposits egesta, out of that sprouts this beautiful flower that rises from that. That was the reference. That somehow through his seeming egesta spouts this, whatever it is. Okay. He knows politics and numbers perfectly. Dick Morris is also great into the numbers, into the mechanics of how elections are won. When it comes to ideology, no. If I said, I want you to find for me a Republican who agrees with us on, pick the issues. I'm going to throw abortion out of the issue because I don't think that's an issue that's moot. It's like capital punishment. You may have strong feelings about capital punishment, as do I, but it's not. Nothing's going to change, so let's not even waste our time. But vaccines, if you don't see what's happening right now, if you don't see what's happening, if you don't understand the distrust that we have towards CDC, if you don't understand the importance of Bobby Kennedy, see, that's the litmus test. Do you get Bobby Kennedy? Oh, I get Bobby Kennedy. You're one of us. Come on in. Pete Hegseth. I don't know that much about him, but the very fact that you had this Lloyd Austin and Mark Milley who wanted to basically sissify and completely neuter and destroy the intellectual and the social and the spiritual underpinnings of the military. If you don't understand this, General Milley has a lot of experience. He wanted to turn our military trans and destroy the integrity. I don't give a damn. Well, General Milley, did you hear what he said? Can you imagine George Marshall, General Patton, Mark Clark? Go down the list. Even Petraeus? Who in the Rick Odierno? Omar Bradley, O.P. Smith, go down but George Marshall, can you imagine? And we're sending this message out to the world that we're a bunch of transgendered, non-binary, chorus boys and girls from some. No, that has nothing to do with denying them rights here, but to and Millie and this guy signed off on it and said it's okay with us because they want to say, I want to get out of here. I want to keep my rank, keep my pension, because I'm going right to Raytheon and Boeing. I'm going to be on every kind of the board there is. So I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to ride this up. Do you think Mark Milley seriously? No, but they gave in. So Pete Hegseth says flat out, I'm not going to do this. I want this right away. It's that simple. Sparky says Gaetz stepped down knowing if he wasn't confirmed, he'd already won re-election, so he can simply go back to Congress. He just resigned from Congress. He's not in Congress anymore. He's not in Congress anymore. He's there. So therefore, the space is open, right? And Governor, I guess Governor, what's his name, has to replace him. So that's it. But either way, he wanted the investigation to stop or the release, which I don't think it does. But either way, he waits. He makes a fortune public speaking, Fox News, unless Fox News and the Hannity crowd, the Rove crowd, don't want that because he is not a paleo conservative. And then he goes again in 2026 and he's got whatever he wants. Anything, senator, whatever it is, because he's going to be able to say, look how I fought. Look how I fought. And the deep state fought against me. I don't know why he just doesn't tell people, look, here's what they're going to say. Here's what they're going to say. The same people who said that President Trump somehow paid prostitutes to perform undonism, which I never understood even why he wants to do this. They referred to it, they kept calling it golden showers. That's not urolagnia. Sort of, but that's not the way it was. It's more of undonism to get the right paraphilia phrase. They ran with that. So remember and listen to this. You ready for this? This is called the limited hangout. What is it? Sparky, you know about this. What is the limited hangout? What is the limited hangout? What is the limited hangout? Limited hangout is when you get it before the story and you get to tell the story your way and you get to tell the story your way. And you say, well, let me tell you what happens. There was an unfounded report about a 17-year-old, whatever your version is, you say it now. You put it out, your version. So then when the real version or their version comes out, you're going to say, no, I already told you about this. And they say, no, that's not what happened. You gave another version. That's it. Look at this. JTE's got it right. They tell some truth, but not all of it. Not only that, JTE, it's not some truth. It's their version of the truth. They get to say it first. Nancy Pelosi's husband could say, I'll tell you what happened. This guy broke into my house with a hammer. And I'm standing there and I don't know what's going on. And the police came and thank God. Okay. The other story comes in, and let's say the other story. I don't even know what the story is, but let's say, no, these two met at a leather bar and he brought them home. I'm not saying that's what happened, but Pelosi's husband would say, that's not what happened. No, I told, and they say, no, that's your version. Well, that's what I did. You always get the story first. Limited hangout. You give a part of it and you give people the impression this is the extent of what it is. Recognize this. Recognize this. Think about this very carefully. Remember this. You got to ask yourself, number one, where we started, are you a Republican? Where do you fit into this? You use the word rhino. If you're a Republican, are you a conservative? What are the articles of faith? How does this work? This is the thing which is the most important. Okay, stand by, my friend, because speaking about contamination and the like, Are you looking at the potential of malware right now? Do you have VPNs? Do you have devices? Or are you sitting there like a sitting duck when you go out into the world, out with your phones and you go into coffee shops and you hook into Wi-Fi's, and do you have any idea of what is your world, what is exposed? Do you know this? Do you ever log on? What's your Wi-Fi password? Do you know what you're doing? That phone isn't a phone. It's your life. Listen to this very carefully. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you checked your devices for malware? Malware attacks have increased 643% since 2020, with approximately 10 million personal and corporate devices compromised with data stealing malware in just the last year alone. Additionally, 19.8% of computers face at least one malware attack annually. This emphasizes the critical need for individual users to protect themselves, their devices, and their data. This is why I use today's sponsor, Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro, and I love the peace of mind it gives me. Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro is an award-winning antivirus with real-time protection, malware removal, ad blocking, scheduled scans, multi-device protection, and more that stops malicious downloads in their tracks. Without Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro, I would risk my finances, banking details, personal data, and more getting into the hands of cyber criminals. Thanks again to Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro for sponsoring today's extravaganza. And do yourself a favor and sign up for a free 7-day free trial, of Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro during their early Black Friday sale happening now, and get up to 75% off. Yes, you heard that. Up to 75% off. Only at virtualshield.com/Lionel. Once again, that's virtualshield.com/Lionel. Today, you should be, and I hope, I hope you're an autodidact. I hope you are a self-taught person. I hope you're into this. I want you to spend time, and you have a device, your phone, your laptop, your iPad, to go into what is conservatism. What does conservatism stand for? What is going on with conservatism? What does it mean? What is it? All of these stories. What does it mean? What is a Republican? What does a Republican stand for? Is Trump a Republican? When you have CPAC, these conservative political action, what does a conservative mean? Does that word even apply to you? I never use the word conservative. I don't even, it means nothing to me. Sparky says, tell President Trump that traditional TV news is like pro wrestling. It may be entertaining, but it's dangerous to bank on. Otherwise, take it seriously. Oh, I think he knows that. If ever there's anything when you say TV news, traditional TV news, especially leftist, I think he knows that. Absolutely. Without a doubt. 100%. And what he also, you also have to ask, this is the most important. We need to look at things carefully. Happy Love says, articles of faith, creed, politics have replaced religion. The end. Interesting. I'd like to expand upon that. I don't know. I'll venture to say most people do not have any earthly idea of what politics is. None. They don't know. They don't know what it is. They really don't know, what does this thing mean. There's this month came out with the Downbeat readers poll, which I love. I've been getting Downbeat forever. And they understand what jazz is. They really don't have a problem with that one. They really understand what it means and the history of it and that sort of stuff. But you have to ask yourself, what is the cornerstone of your belief? Here is my article of faith. Number one, this is my Bible. This is it. Start with the Constitution. I know it sounds corny, but it's not. This is what matters to me. Everything else is a waste of time. Sparky's fun facts. Fun fact, both Ukraine and Israel have taxpayer-funded healthcare, American taxpayers. I love that. Absolutely. This is it. We start with this. Now, this doesn't answer everything. This does not answer everything. Is there anything unconstitutional about writing blank checks to Israel and Ukraine? Is there? Is it unconstitutional? No. So it's part and parcel. Then we get into the methodology. Then we get into the philosophy. I am of the opinion that a bunch of people took over our country and they became known as the philosophers from the days of Dulles and beforehand, and they became hawks. And after World War II, we were not asked anything, but a very small group of people decided the direction and the trajectory of our country. Understand something. For far too long, we have been the victim of a trajectory brought by other people who have determined what we are going to do. We have become an administrative world. The CDC, the NIH, Fauci, and whatever her name is, they ran our world. They destroyed, shut down, limited, truncated, and interrupted personal freedoms, personal liberties, an administrative agency, not courts, not the government, not an administrative agency. The CDC, the FCC, and the FCC, I like this new FCC chairman, whatever. But these people, administrative agencies, are telling us what to do. Fret Pound says Curtis Yarvin has a whole theory called progressive liberalism, the cathedral as the left's new religion. Worth reading. Very good. Thank you for that. We have people, groups of people who are deciding the fate of the DOJ is what's affecting our worldview, my life, my liberty. The DOJ, not the Congress, not us. What's the DOJ? Sparky says, call them replacement parties instead of third parties. U.S. system won't abide more than two parties. Remember the Whig Party? Oh, yeah. And the Bull Moosers? Remember Teddy Roosevelt? So here's what we do. You think individually, look, this is what I think. This is what I like. Think of it in terms of diet. I like this. I like that. And then we go to this absolutely terrible cafeteria, and there's nothing there for us to pick but a couple of lousy items. That's where we are today. But you individually are made up by your faith, your history, where you live, your worldview. Many times, Black people and white people and women and Asians and gays and straights and see things completely differently. You know it. I know it. We all know it. This is an absolute fact. It is a fact that blends into your worldview. When we take that worldview collectively, you say, what do we have available? It was very clear with President Trump. Next time, it's not going to be that clear. Get ready for it. We'll deal with that later. But it was very clear. He absolutely is a one-of-a-kind, transcendental candidate that we will never see the likes of again. Does that make sense to you? We will never see the likes of this again. And there are people out there who speak things, but never say, oh, I like Fox. I like Charlie Kirk. Those are people, those are exponents, but nobody said, I'm a Bill Buckley or a conservative. Maybe they did, but I don't remember that. Those were commentators. I'm trying to think if nobody ever said, I'm a firing line, whatever. Bill Buckley was important, but his views on Vietnam were ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There are people, and Sparky, you might remember this, and Gloria and Billy and Fred, you might remember this. There are people who believe that you must always in the United States absolutely love and be a part of any war effort, you name it. You got it? Every single war effort. They love it. They think that if it's a war effort, everything's groovy, everything's great, everything's terrific. Do you understand that? They think this. There are people who believe that it is in America's interest to hand over whatever money Israel asks for to stop Hamas and to destroy Hamas. Listen to Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is he's a puppet spouting and espousing this. Same thing for Ukraine. That Vladimir Putin came in and he just stopped that. That's in the mix too. What do you think about this? I'm anti-war, pro-defense, anti-war. Where do I fit in? Nowhere right now. So I move to the next issue. It's not going to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but understand why people act the way they do. Sparky says, did Trump pick all of these eschatologists and Stefanik just to satisfy Miriam and make it to inauguration? Then he will change them out as needed? I hope so. I hope so. I hope somewhere he said to, by the way, remember, Sparky, scatology is similar to scatological. Eschatology, there's a joke there somewhere. I hope he would have told Miriam and others, look, I'm going to do the best I can. You know my problem. I understand. So we'll make it look as good. We're going to run out the clock. I picked Marco. I picked Elise. All right, we're going to do this. And as far as anything to destroy the UN, good for you. If she does it, great. But Marco was super. Do you remember, Sparky, years ago, there was the notion of the Secretary of State this was a guy who was in charge of doing things like passports and stuff that was like real simple to understand, nothing to do with. Now the Secretary of State has taken on these roles that nobody understood. So the bottom line, my friends, is simply this: is Matt Gaetz crazy? No. Does everybody hate Matt Gaetz? Not everybody. I don't hate him. Do you? No. Is he going to make it? Good chance he won't. Just from the sound of it, they've got to say no to somebody, and Gaetz probably knows exactly. So he'll step down, make gobs of money. What's a step down from the House? Maybe run for Senate, governor, something like that. And his role next time is going to be: see what they did? I fought for you. I fought the deep state, and look at how they treated me. You dig? You dig how that works? Let me see. Gaetz resigned his present term, not his next term. Right. His next term might be, I don't know if he, put it this way. If he tries to run identically for the same one, that doesn't necessarily prevent the House from releasing this. If he runs for Senate or something, or governor, it's a different story altogether. The argument is that the House loses all jurisdiction. Once he steps down, that's over. If he were to go right back to it, which is crazy, it'd be a different story. Fred Pound says, why isn't Trump picking Mearsheimer for the same position? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Mearsheimer, how about Douglas McGregor? Oh dear God. Be fantastic. They would go crazy. Are you kidding? Do you know what Mearsheimer says about he believes in China containment? He says, oh my God. Oh dear God. NATO, everybody would hate him. He believes in China containment. He calls genocide. He calls what Israel's doing genocide. I mean, oh my God. No way. No way. He'd be my choice in a heartbeat. 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 And also McGregor for DOD. Oh my God. Not, listen, Trump has this thing, and you know it. Trump loves this kind of cool guy, macho. Trump kvelled, as we say, over Jim Jordan. Ooh, you were he was a wrestling star. Okay. He likes tough guys and boxing. And okay, all right. Okay. By the way, one day we'll talk about my theories about why men love UFC. It's a different story. You'll love this one, but maybe for another time. So Trump sometimes, I don't think he would like this egghead University of Chicago professor, though he's a West Point grad, John Mearsheimer, who is just, oh my, it would signal to the world the government's finally waking up, but he couldn't do it. He could not possibly do that. Same thing with McGregor. McGregor is no Millie. He's no Lloyd Austin. This is tough as nails, and I think he'd do a wonderful job. All right. In any event, my dear friends, I thank you. Fred Pound, thank you. Sparky, you were superb. Fred Pound, thank you so much for your excellence. YouTube Stooks, thank you. Raul Rodriguez, Calypso King, and Nubian Stone, thank you, new member. Have a great and glorious day. Please, let me also remind you something. Ladies especially, I want you to go and listen. Mrs. L went to a display this weekend at the Museum of American Culture. What's it called? The Museum of Arts and Design, and it was devoted to Barbie. 75 years, is it? 65 years. I'm getting none of this right. 65 years. And ladies in particular, if you had Barbies when you were a little girl, if you remember what that was, you must listen to this, because it is so important. What Barbie meant philosophically, traditionally, socially, it is without peer. In any event, dear friends, watch this. I put the link up there, and subscribe to Lynn's Warriors. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. We will see you today and later on in the day. Remember, always stay subscribed. Always hit that like button. Always hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And whatever you do, we say, remember these words, this valedictory, this adios, this sayonara, the monkey's dead. The show's over, sue you. Dead.